Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews, and today we're going to be discussing 1998 movie by Stephen Sommers called Deep Rising. It's not a softcore porno.
No porno.
It's actually a monster movie at sea. So
Yes.
Iain, why don't you give us the plot?
Well, it starts with a group of mercenaries on a boat heading out to the middle of nowhere. You know, they're badasses, ready to throw down some shit, and then switches to a cruise ship out in the deep ocean. You know, everyone's partying, massive casino going on. Ship stops, Marines get on board, but there's something else. No spoilers.
Yeah, there are. Well, I mean, it's a monster movie from the get-go. The tagline on the poster tells you it's aliens meets Titanic.
Yeah,
and
it's not. It's not. It's barely a monster movie per se, because the monster doesn't turn up until what, hour into the movie.
Yeah, you're about an hour in before you even see the thing appear.
Well,
and when it does, it's such an anticlimax. It is unbelievable.
John doesn't like this film.
Well, I'm not a fan. No, I disliked it from about 5 minutes in to pretty much the end. It lacked everything that I feel a good film has.
Well, we are talking 1998. We're talking almost 15 years old.
this is around the same time that Alien Resurrection had come
Yeah.
out.
The year
Deep Blue
before
Sea.
Deep Blue Sea.
So there was a lot of monster movies around this time, and it was also a time where a lot of CGI effects were being brought into movies, and unfortunately this film suffers heavily on its CGI department and its green screen department. It's the early types of it, and in places it really lets the film down. But I think that what they tried to capture with the CGI, I forgave the bad effects because it suited the movie. They had managed to develop all of the horror tropes and cliches, and sometimes they were bad, and some of the dialogue, I give you, is atrocious.
Atrocious.
But it made me laugh.
It's funny.
I liked the
it's
characters.
not funny.
It is funny.
That it is terrible.
But that's
That
the
is
point.
not the way.
These Marines,
It was not
these
designed that
mercenaries
way.
are heading out to the boat to pull off the biggest insurance scam of their careers. You know, you've got the owner, Simon Camo, the doctor from Science of Lambs. You know, he's trying to pull off a massive insurance fraud.
There's not going to be any calls for help. For God's sake, man, why? This is supposed to be your life's work, I thought.
Ship's got to be worth what? A couple $100 million?
$487.6 million.
The insurance. That's what the torpedoes are for. You loot the ship and then you sink it for the insurance.
I spent my whole life, my entire fortune building this ship.
And then this thing hits them. What the fuck is it? Is it supposed to be a squid? Is it a kraken? I mean, the tentacles, yes.
Well, they call it things throughout the film because they don't actually know what it is. But
Well, they do sort of describe it, and they describe the way it acts.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it's not. It just doesn't match up to what they describe it
Well,
as.
scientifically, they say, you know, it says on the box that at such and such feet of the ocean, these things are like the size of a pencil. So you're like, oh, well, don't care. 20,000 feet, they're known to eat a shark. You're like, how big's the shark? Then at 40,000 feet, they come up and they rape a fucking boat and they eat loads of people and then secrete their skeletons out in a poop room.
But they grow at 40,000 feet. What are they doing on the surface?
That's it.
Why
I
would they
mean,
want to go after a
the
cruise ship?
beginning
of all
of the
things?
maybe they
sequence.
ate everything at the bottom.
The
It doesn't
opening
matter.
sequence.
They ate everything in the ocean and they decided to come up for a cruise
Who the hell
ship.
knows?
That's it. These
The
things
film
are
takes
just
place
hidden.
at sea from start to finish.
The opening sequence
starts-
where it's swimming along the bottom and you've got all these old ships with massive holes inside. You're like, this thing's been around for quite a long time.
Yes.
But physically, there's no way this thing could exist. It's just, at most, it's a bunch of tentacles an hour in. The kill room. They come down in the elevator and they open up the door and they walk down this corridor. It's all sealed off. Bodies, you know, a few bodies lying on the floor.
Now what?
and then the thing starts crushing the corridor. And you're like, well, where the fuck is it? You know, this thing's massive. It should be able to just eat that room.
Yeah.
Eat that room. They all just start firing off their amazing guns.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Those guns are badass guns. I'd put that gun right next to the pulse rifle from Aliens, maybe the smart gun, but how many rounds is it?
They describe it as
1,000 rounds a clip. I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's any possible. But there's supposed to be rotating barrels on the gun.
Yeah.
But like a
Gatling gun. Yeah.
Gatling gun.
It's like the heavies gun from TF2 if you play Team Fortress.
Yeah,
It's like
shrunk.
that, but in a machine gun,
Yeah.
and they all have them. And at every possible choice, they shoot them.
Fuck me, man.
They just fire them
It's
off.
amazing because there's so many sequences where it's just the monsters chasing them and them just firing crazy.
By then, we're talking the mercenaries. You know, we've got Treat Williams who plays Finnegan. He's the pilot.
He's the hero of it.
He's the captain of the boat that takes the mercenaries there. You know, he has his theory that as long as they pay him, he doesn't care what they do. But then they get to the ship and everything just. They expected to come across a massive load of people and, you know,
It was going to be a heist movie. It was going to be, Die Hard at Sea.
Yeah, Die Hard at Sea, definitely.
It was the first film I think that I'd seen of that sort of era where they were all anti-heroes. They weren't.
Yeah.
They were all villains in their own right. I mean, you had the thief, you had the mercenaries. They
Yeah.
were all out to do evil, as it would be.
Well, even
And
Finnegan's character, he was an anti-hero guy.
Here's the thing: in the Finnegan character, who is he's a hired guy to do the bad,
Yeah.
but he is the archetype of Nathan Fillion from Firefly.
Yes.
It's that captain
Yes.
who has that kind of cocky attitude, that kind of feels immortal in all of his lines.
He's
Treat
charming
Williams,
mate.
rogue.
Exactly,
Yeah.
he's the
Charming
charming rogue.
rogue.
And so when we watched that, I was like, wow, he looks a bit like the cat from Mal. I was like, he's got his crew, he's got
It's the
that
hair.
interplay, and I was like, wow, this I could see where that's come from. So it's almost the dawn of the anti-hero in the movie.
I
Yeah.
completely agree.
I thought he was fantastic. I
Treat-
would want to see more films with him
Treat Williams
playing that type of
was a
character.
brilliant character.
So, you got a boat waiting outside, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's make a deal here. You get me to your boat, and,
And I can have whatever I want.
yeah, whatever you want.
Can you get me a cold beer?
Funny.
It was cheesy enough and entertaining enough that I was laughing and I
Yeah.
was cheering throughout the movie because it was so stupid, but it had enough care and love in the making of it. And
Famke Janssen?
I mean, Stephen Sommers went on to make the Mummy movies, which are kid-friendly movies.
Yeah,
At least
yeah.
Deep Rising had some gore and it had some horrific effects, like when they discover that the tentacles are not. They don't eat people. They drink them.
Yeah.
And they release one of their captive camaraderies from the beast, and he's spewed out on the floor, and he's like the guy from RoboCop.
Oh yeah, it's just melting
just-
away. Half his head is missing. The CGI for that moment was.
To be
On
honest
the
with
ball.
you, I was thinking at the time you've got films like Saving Private Ryan coming out, you've got Godzilla coming out, and the special effects were actually I'd say quite good compared to those two films. I mean, obviously Saving Private Ryan did Gore better, but yeah, it was. I felt like the effects were very good, and like you
Yeah.
said, that scene where he had half his face missing was very well done, and the effects on that, it looked physical, but I don't know. I think there was CGI
Some practical,
involved,
and then
but it was really believable.
But the budget wasn't really there.
Well, apparently the budget was reduced from the movie when Harrison Ford declined playing
Yeah,
the lead
Han
role,
Solo.
which probably So
It would have
the
been
budget
good,
was
though,
dropped. So
wouldn't
if you can imagine that there was more money behind the film initially.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely. I'd say that was what it was sold on. It was sold on another lead actress. I can't remember her name.
Claire Forlani.
Claire Forlani, yeah. She was meant to be the lead as well, which, when I think, they would have actually fitted in those roles perfectly. They probably would have brought a bit more character to the roles
But they
as well.
knew it was a
And when they
substandard
don't
B-movie.
well, I don't
I
know.
think it became it.
Yeah,
it became
afterwards.
I think it
okay.
was sold as an A movie, like it was meant to be this big blockbuster,
Yeah.
like you say, aliens in the ocean or whatever, and it was sold as this huge thing, like something that's never been done before and something that's going to be done really, really well. And
But
then when they lost the
doesn't come
budget,
across.
it just dropped down. And to be honest with you, the script was written by Steve Sommers like 10 years before the film was actually done.
When the film was going to be called Tentacles.
What a name.
Well, that's the B
Then
movie
again, Deep
slap
Rising.
right there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, all the way through, you've just got Treat Williams, you've got Famke Janssen. You know, they're just, you know, they're going to make it to the end.
Famke Janssen.
Famke Janssen.
Oh, in
A red
her
dress.
prime.
Oh, and was she still in her prime? The woman still got it, but at the same time, they weren't going to sign her, and I'm glad they did.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad they
See,
did.
I think the film benefited from having all these A-list actors drop out of the film. I think that reduced the film's budget, and they decided to go, you know what, we've still got to make something with what we've got. This is what we can do. And I think they really tried hard to make something that would have been substandard if they'd had all the money. If they had all the money behind it, it probably would have been a piece of shit. I really do think.
A bit like Godzilla.
A bit like Godzilla. Where, exactly. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So I think having lost all of that, actually, they managed to make what I think is a classic movie. It's a film that I'd actually forgotten about over a period of time, and then when I remembered it, I was like, I want to actually revisit the film and see if it was as good as I remember watching as a kid. And unfortunately, you are right. It is not as It's not as good a film as I remember watching as a kid. But rewatching it now, it's still very entertaining.
Yeah.
So
It's a fun out of sea monster movie. You know, they're running around with badass guns, shooting the crap out of weird things, just watching people get it. One of the scenes I always remember. Well, there are many scenes actually. In the
is
film,
this your
but-
favourite scene, Ian?
No. This isn't my favourite scene, but I'm just going to bring it up. The scene with the black guy opening the safe. That scene alone will just stick with me whenever I think Deep Rising. I
He
just
went
think
on
that
to
scene.
big things. He was in Blood Diamond.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dijon, I think his name is. And he was
Money.
that is brilliant scene.
But that's the point of this film. It's just a shock after shock. You know, from the woman being pulled down the toilet at the beginning to all those little moments on the boat where you just know the other Chinese girl's gonna die. You know, well, you just know that rubber body comes and attacks her, and I'm like, it's Roger Dangerfield. And if you don't, Google Roger Dangerfield, and you'll just look at the bodies and be like.
That's him.
But then again, that brings in the point of, I mean, the monster. How big is this thing? You know, its tentacles coming inside that ship and pulling people out and then climbing inside the ship.
Don't think about the science of it, Ian. You can't think about this film.
Don't think about it in
I'm
realistic
trying not
terms.
to, but this is the brilliance of the film because it builds all the way up. Treat Williams, I love in this film. He kicks ass. I'm a bit of a Treat Williams fan. And at the end, when they land on. Spoilers, they land on an island and it pulls back and it just opens it up for a sequel. It should have been a sequel. They should remake this film.
No,
They
I
should.
completely disagree.
They should.
I think this is happy where it is. It should stay where it is, which is the graveyard of films. It should.
The bottom of the ocean.
It needs to die. It needs to, it doesn't need to rise anymore. It can just stay deep. It is horrendous. Do not watch this film. Like, even if you've watched every single other film in the world, do not watch this film!
No, don't listen to them. If people who have seen this film back in the day, they'll remember this film and be like, yeah, we should rewatch it and be like...
But you're talking about nostalgia. That isn't the sign of a good film.
No, but that's
a sign of a good film at the time.
Films, isn't it? To
No,
revisit
this
it
film
and look
does
at it
not
and be like,
age
look
well.
how far we've come. You see Deep Rising and you realise how far people have come. You know, we go from Deep Rising to Cloverfield. Monsters, you know,
I don't think
monster
there's a jump
attacking
right
people.
there.
Well, you can. There's a giant monster, and look at the monster in Cloverfield. You see that thing up close, and you're like, oh. You know, you see the thing in Deep Rising, you're like, yeah, Treat Williams, firing off his machine gun.
No, I disagree with you there. I
Yeah, of course,
absolutely
of course
disagree.
you will.
It has not aged well at all. I mean, this film is stuck in the 90s. It is not even
You're
close to
atypical.
being anywhere near the quality that has given it the timelessness. Like I said, Saving Private Ryan earlier came out exactly the same year.
Yeah.
Yet you watch that back and it's like, okay, I know it's based in World War II, but you watch that back and it's like even the special effects are fantastic in that.
But those special effects are different. I mean, the special effects in Saving Private Ryan are loads of squigs, loads of actors, you know, loads of massive explosions.
I agree.
Deep Rising, it's Treat Williams and Famke Janssen riding down a corridor on a jet ski.
That's my
with
favourite scene from the
CGI
movie.
fire comes
Come
flying behind
on!
them, you
The
know?
explosions going off and they're swerving. The
exploding.
tentacles are now moving at flipping warp speed down the ship. They weren't
Where's
moving
the
that
body?
fast before. We just watched one guy getting slowly
eaten.
devoured. And then when it's chase time, they're shooting down those corridors, riding the
It's
waves.
so stupid though. We can't go over the ramp,
stupid.
so let's go bend down a couple corridors so we can build up
He's
some speed.
leaving the shotgun behind him, and she's cocking the shotgun through. He spins it over and he shoots the door lift open. He cocks it again. They shoot the next door open. They carry on
The elevator,
flying.
oh. I forgot the elevator.
It's insane, and it's so entertaining. It is
I
it
am-
is so silly and so
Yeah,
funny.
so
but
silly.
The budget's there. The set was fantastic. You know, the explosions, the fire, the debris. It felt authentic, other than the CGI monster. And yeah, that was my favourite scene. and
It's
I highly
definitely not
recommend the
aliens
film.
at sea. It's Evil
It's
Dead
not.
at sea.
Evil
yeah.
Dead 2.
Evil Dead at sea.
Yeah, the point where
Get
that guy
off.
gets pulled away and pulled under the pipes, and then the blood just goes
From nowhere.
from nowhere, and the gun lands right in front of him. That was just brilliant. You know, I mean, Treat Williams has the shotgun on the back. That's a big nod to Evil Dead. This film should have been released under a fun value, and I highly recommend watching it again if you've seen it. If you haven't
like B
seen it-
movies,
Yeah,
if you like
B
monster
movies.
B movies, you won't go wrong with Deep Rising. You won't.
Okay, I'll give you that. If you like monster shit movies, this movie will absolutely blow
And
your socks off. You will love this film.
It does have a shit.
For
ring.
everyone with the sane mind, this was crap.
It's not of the same
This
quality
was
of
crap.
Feast. It's not of the same quality of Feast, but I think that
It's
Deep Rising
quality
is
of Feast.
better
Oh.
than Doom.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it had one of the actors from Doom in it.
No, he wasn't.
It was the black guy with the mustache, the one who
Kano
the
from
one
Mortal
who gets
Kombat.
attacked underneath the water. Trust me, he's from Doom.
Okay.
That one.
I'll check that out.
Check that out.
I'm about 99% sure.
Favorite scene?
My favourite scene is them shooting through the
Shooting
ship
down the
on
fire.
On
the jet ski. That was.
Favorite scene, John? Apart from the credits rolling up.
My favourite scene.
Oh, when they didn't kill Joey. Your
Oh,
favourite character.
Joey.
We didn't even mention him. That cockweasel. I hate the character Joey in this film.
I'm feeling a real lack of love here.
He's like, what's he called with Scooby-Doo?
Shaggy.
Shaggy. He is the Shaggy of this
Shaggy
film.
of Deep
I believe he's
Rising.
also in The Mummy as well.
He is. He's the bad guy. He's the bad guy. in
He
the movie.
runs off and
I
yeah.
think he's doing something with Steven
It's the
Sommers.
voice.
He's in a bunch of his films.
The guy's voice. You know, it's you just know he's there, and you want him to live.
I
It's
wanted
like
to
a-
die! I wanted him to
You wanted
die!
everybody to die in this film.
Yes, I did. And it didn't happen. And I am thoroughly disappointed in this film. Steve, what are you doing? They all should have died. Just saying.
So
Favourite scene?
Or worst scene.
Worst
Or what's the scene that made you go, fuck this movie?
Fuck this movie.
Worst scene? Oh, my worst scene was not being able to see Famke Janssen get undressed.
Oh, John. Really?
To say, yeah, that is my worst
Your
scene.
worst scene that didn't exist.
That's all I can think
My
about.
favourite scene, I had quite a few actually. I mean, the axe to the head with the black guy, that did make me
Yeah.
laugh.
That came out of nowhere. That was good.
The bit at the end where the guy was being eaten slowly and he tries to shoot Joey and misses, and Joey calls him an asshole. That was brilliant. But I will go with Treat Williams being picked up in the tentacle, dropping his gun, pulling out his shotgun, and the monster going, ooh, and taking a shotgun blast to the eye. like, yes, get him, Treat.
It's funnier when it's retold.
It's funny because the creature then just goes and gently like hovers him over safe ground to drop him.
Drops him.
So we can roll away and live.
Cliches.
Massive cliches.
Monster B movie done very well. Yeah.
Avoid like the plague.